Hello ladies and gents, and welcome to Martin's Assembly Haven. Are you a fan of Harry, Pots and 3D DIY wooden models? Good, because today we're building something a little dangerous. This is the Monster Book of Monsters from Ugears. This is a fully mechanical wooden model inspired by the iconic creature from Pots. In this video, I will build it step by step, showing you how it all comes together, and at the end, we will wind it up and see if this monster can actually bite. I'm not gonna lie, I have built so many wooden models from all sorts of brands in the past, but never a single one from Ugears. But because I myself am a bit of a fan from Harry Potter, and I saw this, and I saw a video of it actually opening up and closing and running, just like from Harry Potter, I could not resist it and just get it. If it lives up to standards of what I've seen online, this could be one of the best models in my opinion that I will ever have. I'm going to unbox this in just a second just to show you exactly what we have in here before we start the build, but the one thing I want to say straight away is because this has to be wound up, so a string has to be pulled right out, and it can run up to like 20 centimeters, which is amazing to be honest, but I had a thought straight away. I was like, I need to put a motor in this and have it run on a remote. Now that would be absolutely amazing. Anyways, that's just me fantasizing. Let's crack this open and see what we have in here. And there we go. This is all we have in the kit. So not that much at all, which is quite good. So it should be a very straightforward build. There's just less than 200 pieces. When I had a quick glance at the instructions, they do look extremely detailed. Like, I mean, very extremely detailed. I looked at some parts and I was like, because there's so much detail and little logos and all sorts, I was like, am I actually gonna get confused a little bit? But we'll see about it as the build actually gets on. So this is our actual wind-up spring right here. These little guys, however, when they are wound up, they are a dangerous little thing because they hold so much power. And once it's actually wound up, and if it manages to escape, you could be in trouble. Then we've also got two rubber bands. I hope that these will be easily replaceable because I assume they will go inside of the model, and as you may know already, rubber bands dry out over time, which is not the best thing to use for mechanical models. I've experienced that myself in the past. We got a bit of wax. That's actually a very nice and thick bit. It looks quite sturdy from the usual ones that I see. A very nice big piece of 240 grit sandpaper, which is awesome. Bit of string for the winding up. And we got 4 boards of the actual pieces, as you can see. And the actual colours, as you can see, that right there. When you look at these, the actual book, that is actually really cool. And you can kind of get the gist of how big will the actual book be. So it's kind of around the size of my hand, but my hand is a bit of a giant hand to be honest. And we've got some more parts right here. So not many sheets at all, which is pretty nice. So yeah, as I said already, it shouldn't take long at all. And I really hope I'm able to help you out with this build, guys, and if you really enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like on this side for this video, subscribe, and ring the bell for video notifications. And if you fancy this book yourself, go and check it out on Amazon. So far, it's available in UK, but if you're somewhere else, just try that link and see if it's available in your country. Otherwise, go and check it out on Ugears' website. And last but not least, thank you to all my channel members who are supporting my work. It's massively appreciated. And if you enjoy my work and you find it helpful, you can support me too by joining my channel as a member, and that is basically you buying me a coffee once a month, every month. And thank you. And let's now begin. Okie dokie. Here's our pieces for the step number 1, and yep, we are starting with the spring. It's obviously not wound up just yet, so obviously it's not going to cause any harm, so that is perfectly fine. But yeah, just remember, once it's actually wound up and it's really tight, my goodness, what a force it holds, and it can do some serious damage to the wooden pieces and your hands, so you do have to be extremely careful once it's all wound up. Right, I'm going to talk about pieces that need to be waxed first. So, these guys, see that? So your number 2 and number 3 piece. These sides have to be nicely waxed. Then when we come to this guy, right here, the sides on this have to be waxed as well. So this is your number 4. And trust me, you should also wax the inside of it. Yup, the instructions don't tell you to do it, but trust me, you should. Right, now we move on to these guys. So these are your number 1 pieces. So what we're going to make sure we're doing is that, see these little arms right here? They are staying at the top, so at the highest part of the piece, see that? So basically like this, and not upside down like that. So we're keeping both the same way. So we join them up, just like this. Then we grab this guy right here. So see, when you compare them, you can kind of see that this rectangular hole is slightly bigger than this one. This is just a square hole. So when you join them up, let me turn them around, you can kind of see the other piece. So you have to make sure you have the right one. If you pop everything out, basically, if you pop all the pieces out. So this simply goes in here, both of them. Just squeeze it straight on. There we go, just like that. And now we're coming to the spring. So what you have to do basically is hold it like this. So pay attention to this little leggy. So make sure that's basically facing you. This little leggy right here. And then when you come back to this piece, make sure, so when you pop this number 2 on from the bottom, that's the bottom you're using that's gonna go in the spring right here. Yup. So what we're doing is, it's going in between the 2 pieces. Yup, literally. Just try and squeeze it in. Nice and gentle, because yeah, if you're pushing your finger on that spring, you might feel slight discomfort, should I call it, maybe, you know? So yeah, just be extremely careful. It's nearly on. Yes, there we go. Just see, it went on a little bit. Not the easiest thing to do. And then simply push it all the way in, as far as you can. I'm going to straighten this piece out. As you can see, one of them kind of escaped a little bit. So I'm going to push this straight in. There we go. Just have to make sure everything's nice and straight. And just wiggle it in. All the way to the top. And then just check that number 2 piece is actually nicely right at the top, as it should be. As you can see, my other piece could be pushed in a little bit more. Alright, let's have a look. So when you look at this number 2 piece, it should be right up against those little leggies. See how you can see a tiny, tiny little gap. Just a tiny one. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pop it on a hard surface. So upside down, basically. I'm going to push on that round piece. Yep, hear that click? That's what I like to hear. Now I'm going to make sure the actual spring is right on, as far as I can push it, really, all the way to that number 2 piece. See that? Now you can't see any gaps at all. And there we go. Look at that. Ha! That's so cool. Kind of reminds me of these weird whisks, maybe? Yeah. That's super cool. And now we come to the piece number 3. And I will go on these 2 number 1s. So on the side where we pop the spring on. So at the bottom of those pieces, basically. Literally just pop it straight on until it stops. Alright, there we go. See that? Now we come to this guy right here. So that's your number 4. So what we've got to make sure we're doing is that we pay attention to these little leggies. This one right here and this one right here. By the way, I think I just realized I forgot to mention this little tool that actually came in the kit as well, and you can find it on the wooden sheet number 3. Very handy to use this side to push out the pieces. I didn't want to use the smaller one. Well, I used it for the smaller pieces, yes, but not for the bigger ones in case it actually snapped, you know. But yeah, nice and handy. Anyways, back to this piece right here. So this is how I'm holding it, yeah? And this is how you should be holding it as well. So this leg, see how it's facing? It's kind of turning to the right. So if you turn it upside down, it's kind of pointing to the left now, kind of turning. So make sure it's kind of going to the right hand side. And now we go 6 of these number 5s. And all we do is, we simply pop them all in these holes. There's 3 right here and 3 right here. Could be quite hard, let's see. Oh yeah, what a click. I can kind of feel actually slightly sore fingers already. So yeah, use your little wee tool or anything that you have to help you push them in, because they are going in really quite hard, to be honest. There you go. Just like that. Then we grab the spring and we simply pop it straight on here. So make sure the legs are facing basically your ceiling, and this is your bottom. This bit right here where it's nice and flush. And I'm going to hold it like this, so see how this leg is just basically on the right, and I'm going to keep this little leg kind of to the left, in the left area, you know. It doesn't really matter where it goes, to be honest, because once it's wound up, it will move anyways. So just simply nicely pop it on, and it will just kind of fall into place on its own. When you look at the instructions, you might slightly get confused, because it kind of indicates that this leg right here has to be facing, not facing, but it has to go in just after the second bit. So right here on the inside, and then you continue kind of around, but that does not work because the whole spring then ends up kind of in the top left corner, which is of course no use. And as you can see, this guy just simply pops in here in that hole. And yeah, this is why you also have to wax the inside. I know we waxed this piece, this round piece, but when there's wood rubbing, you need to make sure you wax both sides, basically, you know, both pieces, so it runs as smooth as a baby's bottom, you know. And now we can bring in our next step. There we go, and our little wee H1 tool as well, that'll help us wind it up. Yup, the danger zone is coming. Right, now we come to this guy, right here. And yep, again, it didn't tell you to do it, but you could wax the inside of this hole right here, like I have done, because it will be touching this guy and it will be rubbing. So yeah, you just have to do it, you know. So when you look at this, you can see there's 1, 2, 3 holes right here, and there's 3 holes on this side, the square holes or rectangular. They're slightly rectangular, I think. Yeah. So you need to make sure those line up with these 3 little guys that we popped in. Just like that. There we go. Make sure that round piece falls into place as well. So right in the middle, just like that. And then squeeze it all together. Just make sure the spring stays into place so you don't squish it, basically. If it looks like some of the legs aren't really going into place, you could pop the tool in, move them a little bit. See that? And push it straight in. There we go. Just like that. So, as we can see, the bomb's kind of popped out a little bit. I'm pretty sure we should be able to push in deeper, because that doesn't look deep enough to me. It should go in deeper, but it does not want to go in any deeper because it's kind of really jammed in there. Let me pull it out. You should probably do the same, because it needs to go in deeper. It should be poking out a little bit, like the 2 legs, the 2 number 1s should be poking out. Right, so there's one thing about this. See, when you pop it on at the end, if it goes on nicely, that means it's actually on incorrectly. So you need to take it off, turn it slightly, so the other way, you know, and you might try and pop it on, start popping it on, and it's not going to go on, just because the spring is in the middle. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to leave it on the side, kind of like this, a little bit. Use the tool to push in the number 1 a bit, and it will pop into place. See that? And then push it straight in. There we go. See? Because it had to come through. Let's see. Yep. There we go. That's much better. See that? See how it's poking out the end? So yeah, that was slightly, I wouldn't say confusing, but incredibly hard to get on. But it's good that it's actually quite hard, so it's going to hold everything into place. Just like this stop. wasn't easy to put in, very quite tough in a place, but again, that's actually very good, you know. Right, now we got this guy right here, so you're number 7. So what you got to do is make sure again you wax the inside of this. Yep, right in there, because we've got number 8 that also has to be waxed, so just the sides, because that will go right in here, right in the middle. And you can feel that it's quite tight, so you have to make sure you wax the inside of the number 7 ring as well, and then just give it a little turn, you know, to kind of mingle, let it mingle basically, you know. And then we pop this on just like that. As you can see, you can line it up with holes there, but we'll sort that out in just a second, because we've got these guys right here. So we go 6 number 5s, and they will go right in these 6 holes, close to the center. Just like that. I assume that will be quite tough to go in again. Yep. Oh, what a nice click that was. Oh, hear those noises. Wow. Wah wah wee wah wah. And now we can pop this number 7 on. Just make sure the holes line up, you know, with those number 5 guys. Just look through the holes, see if you need to move any of those little guys a little bit. Just so you're able to pop this piece on. Because they're all not going to be perfectly lined up straight away, you know. Alright, let's see. Again, it's going to be quite tough, I'm pretty sure, to pop it on. Alright, let's see. As long as I've got one leg in at least, then I can kind of work my way around the rest of them, you know. That's much easier. There we go, nice clicks. Yes! Wow, yeah, that is some clicks, let me tell you. Right. Okie dokie. So, there we go. As you can see. Now we got this guy, so number 8, and we simply pop it straight on. Is it the right way again, eh? It's quite strange how you have to kind of twist it to make sure it pops into place. Instead of having it like a square, basically. And just use your little tool to pop it straight into place. Let's see. Do a good push. Yep, there you go. Just like that. And that's why you have to wax the inside of that number 7 as well. Very important, you know. Right. Now we can use our H1 tool to wind it up. And once we get right to the end, this little leg will have to be pushed onto one of the legs that we popped in at the start by using this tool, and it'll kind of lock it into place. But you're going to have to be very careful with this, because if it comes off that little leg, yeah, it will just kind of unwind a bit like this, you know, and you'll definitely get a fright. Right, let's pop this straight on and give it a turn. Just keep turning it, just like that. Okay, just keep going, just keep going. That's looking good, that's looking good. Okay, so see where it comes in. See where this would actually disappear inside the model. Right here, it clips onto this leg. And just make sure you hold that H1, don't release it. Alright, there we go, see that? It's on that leg. Now we push it in. There we go. Just so it kind of sits there just a little bit, you know. Let's see. Alright. I'm just going to keep going. Because if we release it, it will just start spinning really fast. See that? So I'm just being gentle. Nice and gentle. Just keep releasing it. There we go. See that? So yeah, just make sure that is nicely in. See that? So once it was wound up, we pushed that little leg right in that leg right there to hold it into place basically. And then yeah, just hold this really gently and just let it unwind very gently. Don't just move your hand off, because it'll just go absolutely mental, you know. So yeah, these are very incredibly important steps where you have to pay attention to it, because as I said, I can't stop stressing it. That spring is a massive danger. So yeah, if you made it this far, absolutely awesome, guys. And now we can move on to our next step, right here. See, when you look at this gear right here, so your number 12 piece, you need to make sure you wax those gear teeth, and you have to wax the inside as well. So make sure you do that. And you might find that the wax that was provided, it just doesn't fit in those teeth, because yeah, it doesn't. So what I normally do is I shave a birthday candle kind of in a triangle. See that? So this is my tip of a candle, the birthday candle. And it extremely nicely just gets right in there, you know. Just like that, and just work around it, keep shaving it, work around it. Works an absolute treat, you know. Right, now when we come to these guys, well, this guy first to be honest, so number 9. There will be pieces coming on these little leggies, so make sure you wax just the back part basically of this leg right here and right here, and then the side. See these two sides on the inside and the same on this side. It's just the insides of those two sides, because there's going to be like little 2 wheels coming in. And when I talk about these little wheels, right here, so your number 10s, because they will be turning, that's why I waxed the inside of that wall. I have also waxed both sides of this number 10, yup, because you need wax everywhere where there's friction, where there's wood touching. And I've also waxed the side of these guys as well. I think it was just the one. Yeah, so I waxed one side. So the side that's facing the number 10s. Does that make sense? So, number 10 goes on first. Just like that. See that? And it's moving. See? This is why I waxed also the inside of those little walls and the side of this number 10. Now this guy comes on. So you're number 11, and it'll lock into place on that little leg. It'll hold number 10 into place. And this is why I also waxed the side of number 11, because the little wheel is touching it. Yep, literally as simple as that. And we do exactly the same thing on the other side. Alright, come on little wheel. You can do this. You can do this, little bro. Yeah. There we go. Nice, letting that wax rub in. Yup. Nice and smooth. That's how I like it. Lovely jubbly. Now we come back to this guy that we literally just built. So pay attention to where we attach the little spring leg. Right there. So that will have to face, so when you come to this guy, so you're number 9, that little spring leg that was attached to that wooden piece has to face this way basically. So imagine, it's going to go in here, but it's facing this way. So this piece goes in just like that. There we go. And see that? It's literally facing you basically now. Just like that. Now we go, this guy going on. So you're number 12. You have to make sure that goes on the right way. Yup, not like this. Pay attention to the inside of it. See how the pointy bit is facing. So I'm gonna look at this basically. See that angle right here. So it kind of comes over. It's like whee, down to the spiky bit. That's not what you want, you know. You want that the other way. Just like that. So it starts from here and it goes down to the spiky bit. Whee. If that makes sense. I don't think it does actually. But this is how it has to go on anyways. So it literally comes on over the model like this. And you have to make sure that this little leg right here and this little leg right here, it has actually caught onto the little gaps. That's what you need to make sure. So that one's in just like that. Let's look at the other side. As you can see, it has. See that right there? The little leggy is right there in the corner basically. And it's the same on the other side, literally. Just like that. Magic. Now we go. Whoa, I've lost my piece. I've dropped my piece. I better go and get it, eh? Yay, I got it. Right, so let's start with one of them. So one number 13. That will go right in here. See these two holes? right here. So remember how I said this little metal leg from the spring is facing forwards? It's literally going in here in these two holes, and the other one's going in these two holes on the left hand side. So this is how it's going on. Imagine this is like a little cow basically. This is the head. The head's facing the gear. And you have to just squeeze it in. You might need a tool again because, yeah, the pieces are quite hard to go into place, to be honest. Oh yes, you'll need a tool. You do not want to make your fingers sore. No way, Jose. Ooh, that actually went in nicely just by using fingers. And there we go. Look at this little beauty. That is looking super cool. Lovely. Right, let's move on to our next step. So we've got our string right here. So just make sure it's kind of laying flat nicely, you know, it's not all tangled up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my right hand side and just leave the rest on the left for now. Then when we come to the model, just remember this is like your front. And yes, trust me, you will need tweezers for this step. That's why I have them. So imagine this is your front again, where that little spring leg popped in a wooden piece. So we go all the way to the top, right here. See where the little pieces are. So we're going to skip the one that's at the front and we're going to go to the second one on the left. So that string is going to go around it. So inside and then out. Right, so I'm going to push this straight. I'm going to push it straight through like this, as you can see. But I'm just going to grab it with my tweezers and pull it straight through. See that? So literally it has to come through just behind it basically. Just like that. Then I'm going to leave it like that. Then we come to the other side, so the left hand side. And we're simply just going to make nearly a knot basically, but not fully just yet. So imagine that's your knot right here. Then we come to this other end, the loose end. It's going to come through the hole. Just like that. And we're going to push it all the way on. All the way onto the other end. Just push it straight on. Alright, okay. I'm going to make sure that I don't lose too much string, to be honest. Just in case. Give it a little twig. Kind of push it on. Let's see. I'm going to hold this into place so it doesn't turn. I'm going to pull it. Let's see. Yep, so I'll pull this nice and tight now. And what we're going to do is we're going to do another nut, basically. Another tie? Well, you know what I mean. Right, there we go. I'm going to pop the model down, that'll be easier. So just a normal knot, you know. And just tie up, literally. Just like that. See that? There we go. That's how that should be. Right in there. And now what you can do is just cut off this tiny loose end. So, yeah. Don't ask me why. I actually never went and got scissors. I do have scissors, yes, but I never took them for the shot, you know. But it's okay. These will do just fine. And there we go. If it's hanging a little bit, it's okay. So yeah, there we go. As you can see, that is nicely done. Now what we've got to do with this string is we need to wrap it around the model. So see this gap right here where we wrap that string to start with. That's where the actual string is going to wrap around basically. So on the inside right here. And it's wrapping around anti-clockwise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it like this nicely with my thumb so it doesn't keep turning as I'm wrapping it around. And it's wrapping around anti-clockwise. Like this. So go a little bit tight, you know, but not overly tight. You just don't want it to be loose basically. And then we have to leave between 5 to 7 centimeters overhang basically right to the back. So this is how much I'm going to leave, because if I do another round, another round, yeah, basically another round, as you can see, it's far too short. So I'm going to leave it like this, yeah, now, and there we go, just like that. And then we move on to our next step right here. So we're going to start with 3 specific pieces first. So your number 16, number 14, and your number 15. Just don't mix this 16 up with your 19s because there's difference in sizes, as you can see. Right, when we come to our 15, it's not that clear what we have to wax, apart from the actual tip right here. So I waxed until like here basically, and I definitely waxed inside here because I'm pretty sure there might be some touching going on, and I waxed a little bit here as well, not too much though. Then we also need to wax the top part of this little guy, so your number 14, and the sides, so the edges of this number 16, as you can see right there. Right, this guy is coming on at the back of this number 14. I'm calling it back because, I don't know, it kind of looks like a little, I don't know, water pistol or something like that, you know, pew, 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 pew. So see how that little leg is pointing to the left. This is coming in from the right on this guy. And you just push it straight on. Oh my God, that is hard again. Do I need my little tool? I was going to grab my slate there. I might need it actually. Yep. Definitely. Alright, let's push it straight on. Yes, there you go. Hear that little nice click. See that? It has to go straight on. Where's my other piece going? Aha. Right. Now this guy is going to click in this hole. So the bottom leg is going in the bottom hole, and the top one is going to go through the top gap right there. So see how I'm holding this? So this little horn, the highest, pointiest bit, is facing away from me. And this is how it's going on. Bam. And not like this. Not like that. Okay. Let's pop that straight in. There we go. I don't assume it will be that straightforward. Yep. Again, you could get sore fingers, so use your little wee tool. Push that straight in. I'm going to put it on the edge. Yes, there you go. So I had to put it on the edge because, yeah, it's quite hard to actually push that piece in. And there you go. Lovely jubbly. We'll pop that to the side. Then we come to our number 18 gear. Yup, wax those gear teeth. Then we come to our 17, which is this guy right here. So that will go right in the middle. So see that middle part? Oh, there's two little leggies poking out. That will stay in the middle, basically. Just like that. So you can either pop this guy straight through that gear first, or pop one of the 19s on there first, you know. And as you can see, I have waxed the sides. Yup. Make sure you wax the sides of both of those 19s. So let's just pop, I'll pop it on this guy first. Yeah. Again, sore fingers. Oh, that is hard. Wow. Okay. And then the other one goes on the other side. Oh, I could see a little bit of a wood chip kind of coming off, but it's okay. All good. Now it's locked into place. There we are. See that? That is really tightly into place there. Trust me. Ho ho! Now we come to these two guys right here. So your two 21s. Yep. You need to make sure you wax those teeth on both guys. So what we got to do is we need to join them up. So you need to make sure that the teeth on both of them are facing the same direction, because when you look at one side, it's just flat, it's just straight cut, but the other side is angled. So you need to make sure they're both facing the same direction. See that? And not like this. Nah, no, that's just crooked basically, you know, that's what that is. And then we go this guy right here, so you're 20. And you need to pay attention to how this is going on, because it's going through these two guys right here. But when you actually look at it, whoa, 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 where are you going? See, there's two little leggies. Oh my God. My hands are covered in wax. Everything's disappearing. Disappearing? Falling off. See how there's little two leggies? I'm going to put darker background. There we go. See this leggy right here and this leggy right here. So if I put this across right on them, see how it's mostly to the right hand side, both of them, and not in the middle or to the left. So make sure they stay mostly to the right hand side when you pop this through these two number 21s. Okay. Pop it straight in. There we go. And they both will stop at those two leggies. So this is how that has to look like, okay? Right. Now we come to this guy right here. Yep, so you got to make sure you sand and wax. So this whole area right here, and I did the other side as well actually, sanded a little bit and put plenty of wax. Yep, plenty. And get in both of those holes as well. Make sure you get that wax in there. You will need it, trust me. Right, so we come back to these guys right here. So the longer leg that's poking out, so this is how I'm holding this piece, so you're number 22. The longer leg is coming through that top hole. Literally. Just like that. And then we got this gear. Yep, so you're number 23. Again, wax those teeth. I'm going to pop this straight on. Hoo-yah! See that? And another thing that I actually forgot to mention, to be honest. But we have used plenty of wax already, but you could wax a bit more. So let me take this gear off actually, 23, because I just realized I actually did it myself already. So I waxed this side off the gear as well, like the whole side, because that will be touching the side of this piece right here. So you're number 22. I know we put wax on this piece, but you need to make sure there's wax on the side of it as well. And the same goes on this guy right here, so you're on your number 21. This is my tea light candle that I have used on so many models, and it's still living, which is incredible. Super handy thing. So pop that straight through, pop this gear back on, push it on, and then just give it a good turn. Yup. If you ever come across wooden pieces that touch each other, you know, they have to be waxed. And there you go, that will just be incredibly smooth now. Now we bring in our next guys, right here. Remember how we just popped this on? Surely you can. We got these two guys right here, so two number 19s. Make sure you wax both of the edges, right there. Yep, on both pieces. Both edges on both pieces, that's what I meant to say. And then both of them just go simply on each leg here. One on each side. Might be quite tough again, let's see. It will be, I think. Come on. Okay, oh, I can use fingers for this one. Nice. Very nice. Sure. There we go. So that basically locks all of that in, so the gear can't just pop off. And yeah, look at that. That is as smooth as a baby's bottom. That is exactly what I want to see, you know. Absolute magic. Right, now we come to this guy, number 24. So I'm holding this just like that. So that single gear that went on is facing you. On this guy, the longer side right here, because you can see two leggies here. So the two leggies are basically facing to the right, you know, away from this piece right here. And I'll just simply go right in here. See how there's the rectangular hole right on the side? And just push in as far as it goes. Literally, just like that. Then we got our big gear that we built right here. That goes through that hole right here. And again, did I wax both sides of that gear? I'm not too sure if I did. Maybe I should. No, I should, I mean. So, wax both sides of that gear as well, because it will be touching wood. Yup. Again, everything will run so incredibly smoothly. And once this gear goes through this hole, make sure the teeth have connected to this gear right here. There we go. Literally, just like that. Then we go one of our little guys right here. So your number 17. That will pop right in this hole right there. That square hole or rectangular hole. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at my finger. Yeah, maybe use a tool for that one. Yeesh. Sheesh kebabs. Right. Now we come to this guy. And you need to do exactly the same thing that we did with the first guy. Actually, I just realized, oh yeah, I did have to do the other side. So on this guy, I just waxed the inside and sanded and not the other side. And again, make sure the holes are also waxed. And then this simply goes on like this. Boom. See that? Just like that. So we're lining up this little leggy right there. I'm going to push in just a little bit. Make sure all the gears have popped in the holes basically. There we go, just a little bit, you know. And then pop this leg in. Just like that. And then finish off by pushing in the other end. Just like that. And now you can give your gear train a turn. And this is why you wax everything, because it feels quite tight, you see. And the more you turn it, the more the wax will spread and it will just start working absolute magic. And yep, there you go. That's exactly what we need. This is absolutely brilliant. Ha ha ha! Is that popped in? Yep, it is. It kind of looked like it popped out a little bit. It's all good, it's all good. There we go. See? It keeps popping out. Ah, it's this side. See that? Keeps popping out. It's okay. Because once everything's fixed into place, it will be perfectly fine. So don't worry about it. Right. Now we got two 26s. See how there's a hole? Yep, in both of them. So, when we come back to this guy, we're going to turn it like this. These two guys will go in these two holes. There's one here and one right here. As you can see, it's not going to go straight through. But the hole has to basically face the model. See that? So it's mostly to the left-hand side of this little piece. And it'll simply pop right in here. Hooah! And the same happens with this guy. So the second guy. Second number 26. See that? Just like that. Absolute magic. Then we come to this little guy that we built. Remember that? Right. Again, we stay on this side. So, just pay attention to this again. The bigger kind of horn, if I can call it a horn, or pointy bit. You know what I mean. So make sure that stays to the right hand side and not like this, not onto the left. So hold it like that. Then this end right there, that'll simply go in this hole. Right here. Yep. And then, once this is in, we basically have to make sure that two of these teeth from this gear are kind of in that space, you know. Just like that. See that? And then we've got this guy. And remember, make sure you wax the inside of both of those holes for this number 27 piece. And this is how we're holding it. So these two holes on the left will clock into these two little pieces. And of course, you know what's going in those holes, surely. Alright, I'm not going to push them in straight away. Not fully anyways, just a little bit. Because we have to make sure the round pieces have fallen into place nicely. There we go. Yes! There we go. See that? And that's why you also have to wax the inside of those holes of number 27 piece. Instructions don't tell you to do it, but you definitely need to do it. And let's give it a little turn. Yep, it is definitely working because it doesn't go forwards, but it does go backwards, which is exactly what we need. So it kind of locks it into place, the whole system, so you can't move it forwards, which is absolutely perfect. Okie dokie, then we come to our next step. And yeah, rubber bands in models. I don't know how easy it's going to be to replace these once they dry out, because if you didn't know, rubber bands do dry out, and if as soon as you start working with them, they just crack and split. They open up or just crumble, you know, and they have to be replaced. So I'm not the biggest fan of rubber bands in the models, but we'll see how often these actually get used, because I'm pretty sure they'll get used quite a lot, because it looks like we're building wheels basically, you know, because the book is going to have to run somehow, which means they'll get used. But how do we replace them? Is it going to be easy? We'll find out, you know. Right, anyways, let's start with two of our number 28s. When you look at them, you can clearly see two holes. See that? There's a hole in each piece right there. So we have to make sure they're basically facing each other. So I'm going to keep it to the right hand side, just like that. Then we come to our gear. Make sure you wax those teeth again. Then we come to the right hand side of these two guys, so where that hole is, and the gear will simply pop straight on. And we push it on as deep as it literally goes. It'll just stop before those holes. See that? Just like that. Very nice and easy start. So I'm going to keep this as is, gear on the right hand side. Then we come to these two guys. So your 29s, pieces 29. So you have to join them two up. Just like that. Just like we did with the number 28s basically. Just like that. And then we have to make sure when we come back to this, we have to make sure that this pointy bit basically is facing away from you. So it's going on like this. And make sure that's, well, the angled cut stays at the top, you know, and not like this. No, no, no. Well, once it actually turns, it will end up like that anyways, to be honest. More what I meant was like this, to be honest. Right, let's just pop it straight on. Come on. Yeah. There we go. Again, quite hard to go on, but it's good because it's going to be basically locked in a place, you know. Now we come to our actual parts for the wheels. And as you can see, these two guys, so your 32s, have a hole in them. Like right here, see that? So they both basically have to face the same direction. But we're starting with 31s. So we're going to pop a piece 31 on each side, or your 31 wheel basically. So I'm going to start with it, right? Simply just pop it on. There's going to be a gap between the gear and the wheel. But what we're going to do is, so I'm going to leave that 31 off the left hand side just now. We're going to pop on this guy. So number 32. Just remember there's a hole there. So that goes on just like that. Then we get another 31 and pop it on. Just like that. Then we go 33 and we go 34. So as you can see, they are different sizes. So we're starting with a bigger one. So 33. Pop that straight on. Just like that. Then we go 34. And what you have to do is make sure that you wax the edges of these two guys, because it's going to be exactly the same on the other side. There you go. That locks the whole side in. Now we go to the other side. So a 31 first, just like that. Then we go this guy with a hole, so 32. Pop that straight on. And then we go this guy again, 31. There we go. Then the bigger guy, 33. Straight on. And the waxed 34. There we go. Pop that straight on. And you might wonder, don't those two holes have to face the same way, like together, just like that? In reality, no, because it actually is not needed for anything. The only reason the holes are in there, I think, is just to make 100% sure that you know that that should be the middle piece for both wheels, because when you really look at it, it's just slightly smaller than the other ones. So the 31 pieces. The 31 wheels are slightly bigger than the one with a hole in it. That's literally the only reason, so you can kind of recognize it. It's not like it's gonna do anything physical in the actual model. And then what we do is we pop this rubber band on right on that middle piece that has that hole in it, you know. Alright, oi, 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 where did you go? Where are you going? Where are you going, pal? Okay, just like that. Just make sure it's kind of nicely on there, you know, not kind of incredibly squint, basically. And we do exactly the same thing on the other side. Nice and straight, you know. Let's see. There we go. Just like that. Oh, that is so quiet. Listen to this. Yeah, exactly. You can't hear anything. That's so smooth. That's actually quite smart, using rubber band. Yes, for smoothness, but it will dry out. But it looks like it could possibly be incredibly straightforward and easy to replace, which is super handy, and that's exactly what we need, you know. Awesome. Right, let's bring in the single piece. Piece number 35. Right, what we're looking at is these 4 holes. See that? Right here. So I'm going to keep them to the right hand side, just like I am just now. And not like this. I could keep it like this, but this guy is going in those 4 holes like that. So I could keep it like this, but it'll be easier if I keep it on the right. And then these 4 legs on this side and not on this end. Right here, see how there's multiple legs. There's like 6 legs there. So we need the one that has 4 legs and is facing up like this. See that? So look at the gear. The gear's facing up towards your ceiling and not like this. No, 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 no. And then when you look at these 4 holes, make sure that this longer one, rectangular hole, is also facing your ceiling. So just make sure everything's correct, you know. And then it goes on like that. Let's pop that straight in. Nice and gentle. Give it a little wiggle, you know, and it'll just lock really nicely into place. There we go. See that? Absolute beauty. Oh, look at this. See that little leggy there? Going at the bottom. Oh yeah, and then when you try and go forwards, you can't. That is so smooth. Love it. On to our next steps now. Right, we got 2 36 pieces right here. So that's what we're going to start with. Okay, when you come back to this guy, right here, we're going to pop the wheel in. Yup, so what we're going to do is, see the gear? The gear is facing the gear right here. So it's going on like this. So the gear is falling in between those 2 pieces right there. Just like that. And we need to make sure the gear teeth are connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of pop in a little bit and just allow it to drop in. See that? Just like that. So let me take out. So I'm going to drop in just a little bit. So as you can see, it's not in fully. So I'm going to turn this other gear a little bit. Make sure teeth are connected and lower it. See that? There we go. Just like that. Nice and straightforward. Now we come to these guys right here. So we're going to lock this wheel in. And then the other wheel. So when you look at this, you can see that this side is slightly different than that side. This side is longer. Or when you look at this leg right here, see that is much pointier than this one. That's just a straight cut. But it's going on just like that. See that? Just like that. So the stop leg is going in the top hole. Right here. So let's just push it straight on. Like that. And then that wheel is going to pop in that hole. See that? Just like that. And another thing I literally just noticed, I don't think I actually waxed it myself. I didn't. We can wax the inside of these holes, of those 2 36 pieces. Alright, there we go. Because, again, we want to make sure everything is as smooth as it can be, you know. There we go, I'm just rubbing a bit of that birthday candle right in there. There we go, plenty of wax. Okay, let's push that on. Then we come to the other side, and the piece is going in exactly the same way, just like we did on the other side. Okay, there we go. Pop that wheel in. On the other side, just make sure it's nicely in. Is it nicely lined up? Yep, it is. As you can see. So it's not as stable, obviously, just now, but let's give it a turn. See that? There you go. That's what I like to see. Now that is really smooth. Oh, nice. You can kind of hear like a crackling noise because of the gear train, but that is really quite cool. That is sweet. Right, now we come to the 2 sidewalls. Right here. So, see the ends right here. that have those kind of stranger, pointy, smaller legs compared to the other end. The other end's kind of just straight. See that? So, what we're going to do is, we're going to make sure the pattern, well, there's pattern on both sides to be honest, but is there a difference? I'm trying to see. I don't think there is. Oh no, yeah, there is. See how there's a bit of yellowness? Yep, there is. See how there's a bit of yellowness on one side, but none on the other side. So we're keeping the yellowness on the outside so we can actually see it, because that will be part of the model, surely. So I'm coming to the gear train side right here with this piece because I want the yellow to stay on the outside. And now this flatter side is staying, so the straight cut side is staying on the left and the weirder side is staying to the right, you know. And it simply pops in like this. See that? Really kind of gently pops in there, and those two legs, yep, they will be poking out. And we do exactly the same on the other side. Yep, that, oh my god, that is the easiest pieces ever to go in. That one didn't even make any noise, it kind of just fell in. I didn't even feel anything, it'd probably fall off easily, would it? Yeah. Obviously it's going to get locked into place, but that was extremely strange. It kind of just fell in there. Anyways, it's perfectly fine, you know. And as you can see, the walls are kind of holding it more into place now, so those wheels. And yep, that is turning lovely. Now we got these two other guys, remember? So, this guy first. So we're going to come right here, basically. So it's going to go in the model, boom, like that. But we need to make sure that this is facing the correct way, because there is a slight difference in the shape. So when you look at this side, see how that's angled kind of a lot more than this side? Yup. So you can simply look at these two holes. See this hole? Nice and big hole. This hole in this leg is much smaller. So make sure that smaller hole is staying to the left. And the whole area, this whole area is staying to the back. Basically, just for now anyways, I'm calling this back, this empty space. So this is how it's going on. Just like that, see that? The bigger hole stays to the right, and not like this. No way, Jose! And now these two legs, right here, they will simply pop in these two smaller holes. Right there. So just go ahead, push it straight in. Just like that. Nice and gentle, could be quite hard. Don't want to break those walls, you know. Ugh. Yup, knew that would be hard. And yeah, one wall fell off. Because I didn't even feel it go on in the first place. Okay, let's see. So that wheel's popped out in my hole there. Has it? Oh no, it's the other one. The other wheel popped out of the hole there. There we go. Just make sure those wheels are in the place, you know, before you continue building anything else. But there you go. See that? Should be nice and flush at the front. And that's how that goes on. Let's give it a little turn. Let's see. I was going to say, does it move? Well, it's touching the wooden piece that's right there. Obviously, disconnecting the wheels, but it's not really doing anything. Not just now, anyways. Now we come to this part right here. This is where that's going. Right. Just like that. So see that big rectangular hole right there? It's basically lining up with this one right here. And it'll pop in on the side. So you can either push it in or pop it on to the top. That is literally up to you. So I've kind of popped the model on the side. Yo! Come on. Yeah. God, yeah, that is not easy to put on. So yeah, see that? I'm just putting it on the side. It's fine. Because both ends are basically flat, you know? Well, they are flat. Yeah, that was not easy to put on. Just making sure everything's nice and straight. There we go. Just like that. Yeah, that definitely wasn't easy to put on. And just keep testing your mechanism, you know, just in case something happens, in case something is popped out, you know. But yeah, that is absolute magic. Look how far we've gotten. Don't forget, we have also built the actual mechanism right there as well. So yeah, we're doing good style. Check this out, by the way, before we go on to our next step. You can try it like this as well. So imagine this is your front, where that wall is. Just hold kind of everything up, you know, the side walls. And just move it along. That's so cool! Ha! Oh yeah, that is absolutely awesome. Right, on to our next step right here. I'm going to start with number 42. So you can clearly tell the difference if you look at both of these, because they kind of look very similar, you know. One has got one black line under the square hole. The other one has got two. Yep, as you can see. So we're starting with the one that has one. And we're keeping that black line to the bottom right, okay? And then these two legs, so two of these number 41s, will go in through the back of those square holes. Just like that. I can guarantee you'll be hard to put in. Yup, it is. Ay, ay, ay. I was going to push in with my tool, but I escaped. It escaped. The escapee. Yeah. Whew. I'm not sure if these little guys should be that hard to put in because it's not like it's part of the mechanism. But hey, it is what it is. Come on. Oh, it's a bit squint. I might break it. Don't break, don't break. Hey, where are you going? Come on. Faffing around. Why do you keep falling out? Let's try that again, eh? Yes. Oh my God, it's far too hard to put them in. So, just remember, a black line stays on that bottom right, okay? And this is your two little guys in there. Then we come to this guy, so your number 40. Instructions do not tell you to do it, but yeah, you should kind of wax that area in there. See where the wax is? Right there, right on that leg. So basically around that leg there, yeah, now. So yeah, instructions don't tell you to do it, but trust me, you should just do it. So what we're making sure is that when we look at this piece, because this guy is going to go on it right in the middle, we have to make sure that we look at these three holes, right here. See, closest to one of these legs. We have to make sure that stays to the left hand side. Oh, and yeah, also, sorry, wax the other leg as well, not just one of them, both of them. But yeah, make sure these three holes are closest to this leg, stay on the right hand side. Then when we come to this guy, that will simply lock onto this hole and onto that hole. Just like that, and just push it straight on. You're going to hear really nice clicks there, and there you go. Very nice and straightforward start. Okay, then we go to our next guy. Right here, as you can see, it's got two black lines. Yup, and we do exactly the same thing. Two little guys, again, going in to the back there. Make sure you save your fingers, use your tool. I feel like I'm going to break that tool because these little guys are not easy to pop in at all. Wow. Quite unreal. Right. Now when we look at this guy right here, just kind of make sure that these 5 holes that are on one side, as you can see there's 2 on the other. So these 5 holes are facing to the right hand side. And these holes are facing towards the bottom, so towards your worktop mostly, because when you look at it, the top space is way bigger than the bottom space. And then this guy with the black lines facing the bottom, going simply on like this. Boom! See that? So it kind of overlaps this number 43 piece. So we were using 44 piece, 2 little 41s, and this bigger one, which is 43. Then we come back to this whole mechanism we built here with that gear train. And we're picking this guy. So the second guy we built. And not the first one with those 2 legs that where I mentioned using wax. So this guy right here, again, make sure those 5 holes are staying to the to the left hand side. When I come to this guy, this whole gear train system is staying mostly to the left hand side, okay? And this is going to go on like that. Boom. So, through that first hole on the right, it's going to be this leg that pops in. And the rest of the legs will literally follow. Yup. So, let's start with one. So I've just laid it flat as you can see, just like that against the worktop. Then we line that up with the next ones. Okay, pop that in. There we go. And push it in. Oof, what a noise! And there we go. So as you can see, we're left with 2 holes. We got one right here, and we got one right here. Just like that. And the other 3 are nicely in, as far as you can really push them, you know. And now we come to this guy. So make sure these open spaces right here are facing your ceiling, basically. And we come back to this again, and it's going on like this. So everything will just basically line up. But as you can see, we've only got 3 holes here. Yep, so all 3 of those holes will go in these 3 spaces. Okay. That's one. And just remember the middle part, of course, will go in as well. Which was quite difficult, to be honest. I'm scared to kind of break it. So everything else falls in nicely into place, but this guy that's in the middle, pff, that is not budging, really, I'll tell you. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely scared to break that piece. Yes, there you go. So you really, really have to push on it. I would say that is a bit too much effort, to be honest. I was really scared to kind of crack that piece. Wow, that required quite a lot of force. Wow, wow, wee, wow, wow. Right, let's see. Let's give this a little spin. That is so cool. The whole mechanism there, to be honest, that is actually really quite cool how that's just running those wheels, you know, and there will be more going on, you know. That is super cool. Lovely. Now what we can do is we can pop this guy into place. So let's bring it in. So make sure that cable stays to the back just now. It will come through the model, but let's look at the model first. So I'm going to make sure the wheels are staying towards the front. So remember how I mentioned, so my front is basically where that little spring leg got locked onto that little piece. And yeah, just make sure this is still staying the same amount, basically, you know, the actual string. So yeah, onto my front right there. Then when you come to this guy, the wheels are facing on that. So when you look at this sidewall as an example, see those 3 legs right there? They will click in this hole, and that hole right there. And the rest of them will just literally follow. So when that goes in, you pull that string through, just like that. Just make sure it doesn't kind of unwind itself from the whole mechanism at the bottom. And then when we look at the front of the model, see how there's a hole, a round hole right here. So that's from the number 40 piece. There's a hole there. That's where that string is going. So you're literally going to have to pull it straight through there. Come on. I didn't kind of want to nicely go in, because that end is kind of a little bit ruined, if that makes sense. So just make sure it's not all tangled up in that mechanism or anything. Okay, nice. And now we can pop it into that base, basically. There we go. So I'm not pushing the whole side in at once, you know, like fully. I'm just kind of lining the up of the legs, pushing in just a little bit, because you kind of have to work around the model. You don't want to push one side in fully and then struggle with the rest of them, you know. Okay. See, you're just literally working around the model. Those noises are satisfying, let me tell you. Wow, yeah, that is really cool, actually. Yeah! Right, everything looks awesome apart from this guy right here. See that? There's a bit of a gap, but it is not wanting to go in anymore. It's just kind of there. No, that is definitely not going anywhere. But yeah, there we go. This is looking magic. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I shouldn't be turning it now, to be honest, because my string is in the place now. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it for now. There we go. Literally, just like that. But yeah, wow, it's taking its shape now big time. This is going to be so cool. I love that color, by the way. That's really cool. That is so sweet. Oh my lord. It kind of builds up a bit of weight as well. That is really nice. A really cute size, by the way. I kind of wish it was massive, like an actual big book, but I'm pretty sure this will be awesome as is. So as you can see, that's all that really nicely in. And you do also, by the way, have to make sure that this big gear, that's right here, gets connected with this gear right here. Yep. The only thing I've noticed is that there's kind of a gap here. As you can see, it's not really flush, but I tried to push in as hard as I could and it doesn't go in, but I think it will go in once we do this. So you need to grab your little handy tool. See those guys right there that we popped in? Yup, that have that hole in where the wheels kind of popped in. We have to use the tool to push on that corner and push it in because there's a leg that has to go right in this hole, and it's the same on the other side. So we have to kind of push it in. We might have to pull out the side wall a little bit, to be honest, if we can. Let's see if I can just push it in. Let's see. Yeah. Nope. Might have to pull out the wall a little bit. That's okay though. Because my tweezers are so thin. They kind of just nicely pop into any tiny little gap, you know. There we go. So I've loosened it a little bit. Oh well, just make sure that you don't push everything in fully to start with. Unlike me, eh? And then try and just push that side in, which is quite awkward, I'm not going to lie. There we go. That's that in a little bit. And you do exactly the same thing on the other side. There we go. Try and push this straight in. Yeah. Yes. Oh my god, that is not easy. I feel like I'm going to start sweating. Let's see. Let's push it all the way in now. Yeah. And the same on the other side. Yeah. Ooh. Wow. Okay. There we go. See this little leg right here? Nicely through. Same as this one on this side. And now you can give it a little wheel and then you can kind of wind it up, I suppose. See that? If you go back, the string will just keep going in. See that? But we can pull it a little bit. Hey, hey, hear the clicking noises? Danger! Okay, I don't want to mess with that too much just now because we're just going to move on to our next step. Okay, so we got our actual handle for the string, and then we can also bring in our next step right here. So it's basically kind of two steps in one, if you could call it, you know. So we need to pull the string a little bit. Yeah, love that sound, that's actually really cool. And we have to simply pull it through this hole right here, you know, on this piece where it says, pull me. And to be honest, that's up to you if you want the string to start from the top or through the bottom, you know. And I'm going to start from the top. As you can see, it's kind of bushy, a little bushy at the top, so I can't really push it kind of through my fingers. So I'm going to have to use my tweezers. Super handy, as you can see. And I'm going to do maybe, I don't know, I was going to say one knot. I'm going to pull it a bit more. I don't know, I think I'm going to do 2 knots. I think that's much safer than 1. And then the excess, again, can also be simply just cut, you know. Let's see. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm going to pull it a little bit more, just to give me a bit more wiggle room, you know. And there we go. As simple as that. There we are. And you can just grab your scissors I know these are not scissors again. But you can grab your scissors and just cut it. It will definitely give you a cleaner cut than my little handy pliers here, you know. But they do the job, so that's pretty good. And it looks nice and fluffy. See that? There we go. I'm sure you could make it a bit neater. I think I will actually get scissors. Or, I don't know if I can recommend that. Not that you should do it, but I think I might do it. You can just burn the top a little bit, because it'll kind of just melt into one thing, one blob, and it'll just stay there really nice and hard, and there's no way that would come loose enough there, you know. But anyways, it's up to you. You don't have to do it. You can just leave it hanging a little bit like that. It's not like it's causing any harm or anything, you know. Right, now we come to this guy right here. So this is our top, so 49, and we're choosing these two guys as well, so two number 50s. So we're going to pop the rest of the pieces onto the side. So when we come to this guy right here, see those holes? It kind of looks like a snail. Yeah, it does look like a snail. So we're literally holding it like a snail. So that's its shell, and that's the head, you know, with the eyes basically. So what happens here is, that hole is going on this leg, and the same will happen on the other side, literally like that. Boom. Yep, because those eyes will pop open. Again, you could wax, to be honest, a little bit of those little legs, because again, as I said, they will pop open, you know, and it's just to make it a little bit smoother. You don't have to do it, but if you fancy, you can. So we simply pop it on like this, and we do exactly the same on the other side. See that? So give me a little test, you know, see if it's nice and smooth. Yup, that, oh god, yeah, that is, that improved it by miles. That is actually really nice, yeah. You just want that all to be smooth, you know. Then we come to this guy, so your number 46. This leg, that's right here, that's sticking out, I'm going to keep it to the left. Then we come to our number 47. That goes in these two holes right in the middle of that piece. Right in the middle. See that? And then we've got 4 eyes. Yep, when you look at them, they're all exactly the same. See that white dot right there? They're both, all 4 of them are facing at the bottom right. So yeah, they're all exactly the same. And they all go in right at the front holes. See how there's 4 holes altogether at the front. And just make sure the eyes are facing you. And just pop that straight on. There we go. I'm going to push in a little bit deeper because I can kind of see the cut of the bottom leg. Oh, there you go, yeah. So push it straight in. And just repeat it 3 more times. And again, watch your fingers. Sore. And one more. Yeah! There we go. See that? That is quite nice, isn't it? And then what we're doing is, we're flipping this now. So eyes are staying at the bottom now. And see those 2 holes right here? They are clicking on these 2 guys that we popped in. Yup, so your 2 50s. Literally. Just like that. I don't believe this is going to be that straightforward, but we'll see. So I'll turn it upside down so I can actually see them. Yep. Push in there. Come on. Use that tool again. Yeah, come on. So I know one is in a little bit anyways. I haven't heard any cracks from the other one yet. Yes, there you go. Oh my god, that was hard. Why so hard? Yes. Little beauty. There you go. There we go, look at that. So that's your eyes, just imagine they're kind of popping up. Boom! Oh, that was far too far. Boom! That's pretty cool, isn't it? So it's just sitting there and then boom. Yeah, that is actually pretty smart. What a cool detail. Absolutely love that. It's like sneaking, you know. Yeah, that is really cool. Right, we can continue now. On to our next steps now. Right, so we've got quite a few steps here, And we're going to start with this. So number 51. And for your little buddies that are right here. So your number 41s. So when you look at this piece, so it kind of looks exactly the same everywhere, but there's one difference. See this gap right here between the edge and the circle. This one is much wider than the one on the other side, right here. See that? So when we come to the actual cover, right here, so the top part, this wider gap will be facing towards the front basically. So see how the eyes pop? This is how it's going on, literally just like that. See that wider gap? So just pay attention to it basically, you know. Then when we pop these little leggies in, so your 41s, when you look at this piece, as you can see, the top part is not as wide as the bottom part. So the smaller one, the smaller end is going in this piece, and the wider end will go right in here. So they all simply go right in here. So might need a tool again. Yup. Everything's very quite hard to get in. See that? And it'll be just nice and flush. And we do that again 3 times. So here, here, and here. Again, just remember how they're going in. I kind of highly doubt that you would be able to even put it in the other way round. Nah, yeah, see that? It's not wanting to go in at all. Yeah, use your tool because your fingers will get really sore if you keep using your fingers. And to be honest, when you think about it, this model will be on the move, you know, it'll keep opening, moving forwards and closing, you know. So it does make sense that everything's nice and sturdy because you don't want pieces to start coming loose basically, but wow, yeah, it can get quite sore on the fingers. Right, so as I said, this will now go at the front, just like that. See, there's 4 holes right there. That one, this one, and that one. That's where this guy's going. And just remember how it's facing. Remember the gap. The bigger gap's facing the forwards. And not like that. And just simply push it in. Heh, simply. Might be quite hard to be honest. Oh, what noises. It's a crackling fire, you know. See that? There we go. Just like that. Magic! Right, now we move on to this guy right here. Monsters! Yep, that looks really cool. Number 53, and we need another 2 number 41s. So the little leggies again, so they're going in through the bottom, so through the other side, the plain side, and it's exactly the same again, just like before. So simply push them in, just like that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Heh, simply, that is very tight. Yeah. Ooh, there we go. And see how they're facing. See how it's facing, sorry. Like that and not like this. Can we put it in the wrong way? Let's have a quick look. We could. See? So that's how it has to stay and not like that. So we're simply going to turn it. There we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Escape. Yeah. Come on. Ugh. Oh my God. There we go. See the 2 leggies? That's how they go in. Then, when we come back to this guy, so we're looking for 2 holes basically. Again, we're just looking for those holes, you know. So we're going to look at this one first. Right here. So the monster's facing like this, the actual sign. See that? That's how it's facing. So that way basically the writing's facing and not this way. So when we pop this back leg in a little bit, the other one will just find its hole. See that? Just like that. Absolutely beautiful. Now we come to these 2 guys. So these are your number 52s. So we have to make sure they're going in the right way. So imagine they're on the model, like right here. But how they're in just now is incorrect. This one is correct, this one isn't. So they have to face the same way, literally, just like that. See that? Because of those little, I was going to say wheels, it's for the little mechanisms for the actual eyes to have kind of space to rotate in, you know what I mean? So this is how they're going in, just like that. And again, we go for little leggies. Yeah, let's inflict more pain in our fingers. And just remember how they're facing. Oh my goodness, that is hard. Wow. See that? Again, so it's kind of facing like that. Horizontal, not vertical. That's what I've been wanting to say. Come on. Not many of these tiny, tiny little guys left, so that is good. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So that's that. One done. Holding this correctly so I remember how it's going to go in. Then I go to the back. And simply pop it in. Not sure about simply. But we have to try and pop in. Come on, little buddy. Wow. That is some work, let me tell you. Ay, 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 ay. Come on. Get in there. What you could do, I suppose, is you could put a little wax on those little leggies to try and help you push them in a little bit easier. It's not going to make much difference, to be honest, but it might make a tiny, tiny difference. Right, now we simply pop it in those holes. Just like that. Again, what a noise. I love that when the piece is clicking into place. Oh, that's lovely. There you go. And when we open the eyes, as you can see, this is how far they can open. So they don't open up fully and kind of go overboard, basically, you know, like an overkill. So they kind of open up just a little bit, which is really quite cool. Is this how far it can actually go? Yep, that's as far as it will go. That is actually really quite smart, I'm not going to lie. Very quite cool. Right. Now we've got this guy. Right here. So what you need to do is make sure you wax this edge, this whole edge right there, and the inside, the whole inside. So this will be your stop and start button, basically, you know. As you can see, there's one right here. Yep. So this will latch on to these two guys right here. So see this? When you look at the actual sign, see this gap that's right here on the left hand side? There isn't one anywhere else. So the pattern staying facing your ceiling, basically. This is staying to the back of this 55 piece. So that's 55 piece, that's 56. So what we do is we push it on like this, and then we push it into place. There you go. Nice and easy. See that? That looks pretty cool. I really quite like the colours and the patterns because it looks quite rustic. It's not like it looks really incredibly bright and kind of pops in your face. It's very rusticy looking, which I think personally is really quite cool. Right, so we've got that. We'll leave that on the side. And now we come to this guy. As you can see, more writing. The Monster Book of Monsters. Yep. So, because this writing follows up with that writing basically to finish the sentence, it'll have to face the same way. Literally, just like that. As you can see, there's these two holes right there. That's where that's going. This is how it's going to go on. Just like that. And again, yep, we got two leggies. Haha. Prepare fingers. Yeah. There we go. Let's use that little tool. Come on in. Come on in, little dude. And yeah, just make sure, again, they're facing the correct way, you know, both legs. So, like this. See that? Horizontal. If I hold a piece like this, and not vertical, like facing the other way. Because then, if you'd come to the book, it might not even fit in the hole, you know. So, yeah, I don't think it will, actually. Right. Now we simply pop in. Boom! Look at this. That is super cool. That lid is taking its shape big time. Absolutely magical. Right. Now we got this. So the actual switch. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to flip it. See that? Just like that. Then this guy is going to go in like that, basically. Whee! Right through that gap. See this? So that's how that's basically going to go in. There's more to do, so don't panic, because these are our next steps. And when you come back to this guy, we're going to keep pushing it right in, just like that. And it's going to go over that wheel where the eyes are, see, right in the middle. Just keep going, see that? There we go. See this? That's how it's literally gonna stay. So this is your on and off button, you see? Start, yeah, no. Start and stop, and look at this. See that? And this is why we need to do waxing. See, as I keep rubbing it, because I did waxing, it gets smoother and smoother. So yeah, that is pretty cool. Right, so what we got to do is basically make sure we fix it all into place, you know? So we're gonna push it forward, like this, basically, kind of push it in a little bit, so it kind of stays up, as you can see. Then we come to this guy, so your number 57, and as you can see, I have waxed here. Yep, and I waxed, did I wax the edges? Oh yeah, it looks like I waxed there a little bit, not too sure why. But I waxed there in those, well, in that gap anyways, at the bottom, yeah, now. So, when I hold the model like this, the 57 piece is going through here, like this. See that? Now what we're going to do is we're going to twist it, just a little bit, so the legs will be facing the actual lid. Okay, see that? So I twisted it, and now we push it all the way to the back, just a little bit. All right, just a little bit, all the way to the back, I mean. So when we push it all the way back, these two legs will basically line up with these two holes. Just like that. And we're going to simply push it in. Just be nice and gentle. Okay. Yes. Hear that crack? Yep. Again, that's what we want to hear. And that's why I waxed those two gaps. Because you see, this piece right here is going to keep moving back and forth. That's why you got to wax it, you know. Then when we come to the other side, as you can see, the two legs are right here. Then we got our two 59s right here, which will go in those two holes from the front, like that, boom, to lock it into place. All right, I'm going to use my little tool. I'm pretty sure I'll need it. Yeah, yup, yeah. Oh my God, that's so difficult. Sweating just by trying to push these little guys, and it's unreal. Yeah. Oh my God, come on. This is not lined up properly, is it? That's better. Ah, yes. Whew. There was a little bit of wax on there actually, so that kind of helped. Yep, definitely did. See that? There was a little bit of wax. See that? That's that guy now locked into place. So when we give it a move, I'm going to spread that wax there at the same time, and it should kind of loosen itself, you know. The more movement you give it, the looser it will get. See that? See the bottom there? How it's rubbing. Yes! Loads of wax, so it's nice and smooth. Yep. That is so cool! Oh man, this is unreal. Absolutely love the look of this. It's just magic. Right, let's finish this off. Well, this step anyways. So we got our 58 piece. So we flip the lid. When we go to the back again, this little guy is going to go right in this hole. Right to the back of it. So it's going to go in through this side. Right, there we go. So onto the right hand side if you hold it like this, and not the left side. Just pop it straight in. Probably not going to be that easy with my sausage fingers anyways. Ugh, come on, get in there. Oh my God, why is it so hard to put it in? It shouldn't be this difficult. Come on. Ah, yep, definitely need a tool for this. So it's in a little bit. I'm gonna push it right in. Oh my God, that is difficult. I'm definitely sweating here just by pushing those little pieces in. Right, now we got this guy. So 60 and 61. So I'm holding it like this, so the little hammer part, I'm gonna call it, is facing to the left for me. Then this guy is gonna come in through the top. Wow, that went in really smoothly. That is actually quite satisfying. Let me enjoy it. Oh yes. But now when it's going to go in the actual cover of the book, it's probably going to be difficult. Right, So this guy is literally going to come on like this. So that little hammer is going to be touching this little guy. And you also have to wax it. Right here. See that? Plenty of wax there. Yup. So these two leggies will go right in these two holes. Right here. Alright, let's see. So it has to stay at the front, the little hammer, but we'll move it in a second. So I'm going to push in this little piece a little bit. Move the hammer out. There we go, just like that. So it's not sitting on top of that little piece. And then push the rest of the piece down. Hooah! So that's how that has to be. The little hammer is staying on there. So now when we move it, as you can see, the little hammer will be moving. See that? And that's why it has to be waxed there. So you could have waxed that little piece as well. So, oh, I can't actually remember the number. 58, there you go. So it makes it for a much smoother movement, you know, much smoother mechanics. So that is actually quite smart. That is super quite cool. Right, we can now move on to our next steps. So we're moving on. There we go. This is our next pieces. Right here, and we're going to start with this guy. So your number 64. So when you look at it, so it looks like there's patterns obviously on both sides, but again, just keep an eye on that yellowish stains basically. So keep that facing outwards of the model basically. And so when you come to this guy right here, so I'm going to look at the middle leg of it right here. That will go literally right in the middle here, and the rest of the legs will literally line up for you, Anna. There we go. It's one a little bit in. Try not push one leg in fully, you know, only a little bit. Otherwise you might break the other legs. See that? You just keep working your way back and forth basically. There we go. Okay, let's see. There we go. So it doesn't look like it's completely flush there. It's like something's in the way a little bit. I wonder if there's a little burr maybe at the bottom somewhere, possibly. But it's definitely very tightly into place. Right, let's go on to the two little walls. Or you could start with these guys. It's really up to you, you know. But we're going to start with two number 65s. Right, so we're going to pay attention to this little leg. Right here, and when you look at the other side, see the little stains again, just like here. So we're going to make sure they're staying on the outside. So this leg is facing to the back. So basically towards the hammer, so the same direction, just like that. Stains staying on the outside. So this is where that's going. See that? So I'm going to line up the first leg right there with that only hole that was left on this side, right there. And the rest will literally line up with the rest of the holes. Oof, what the crack. It kind of feels like something is... Whoa, oh, was that me pushing out a bit too far? Yeah, that was quite the crack. I was going to say, the cracking sound like something is literally breaking. That's quite crazy, actually. Oh yeah, and we're doing exactly the same thing on the other side, as you can clearly see right there. So that's your first side, so your right side and your left side, from my perspective anyways. Okay, there we go. Now we got these two guys right here. Okay, we're going to start with this little, I'm going to call it a cow or a sheep. So this is your head basically, Anna. Okay, that will go right in here. So the head is going to go over this hammery piece basically. Just like that. So we basically can't lift up, you know. And again, be careful because, yeah, it's not going in that easily. There we go. So I gave you a little wiggle back and forth and it went into place much easier. Now we got this little dome that will go in these two holes. See them right there? Oh my lord. Sweating. There we go. Okay. Let's see if this is still working correctly. All right, let me see. Okay, so it's much harder now. It kind of feels like it's a little bit harder to move it because I think this guy doesn't allow the hammer to move that far back anymore. because it could possibly move a bit further before. But that's good, it's for the tension, you know, it kind of locks this guy. So your on and off button, basically, it kind of locks it into place nicely, you know, so you can't just escape. There we go. So I'm going to keep it, again, in the off position. Now we got this guy, so your number 66 piece. By the way, I'm not sure if I said it, that's 63 piece right here, and that's 62. So, this guy right here, we're going to turn it like this. See how this, it's kind of like a sign type of thing. Or what's this thing called? Bookmark. There we go, looks like a bookmark. Got so excited there because I figured out, bookmark, wow. So this is how it's going on. See how there's 4 holes? It's lining up with this switch basically, right here. Just simply pop it straight on. Let's see if it's actually going to be that simple. Oh my god, it actually was! Wow! So, that's your little wee bookmark, that's how that goes on. So staying on the right hand side from my point of view anyways. And then we got our little wee leggy. Yep, right here, so you're 59. That goes into that piece. Through here, through the right hand side, yeah, no? Just like that, and it'll lock it into place. Again, you can put a little wax on it if you want to help you push it in, but I'm not going to do it because it's going to lock it into place nice and tightly, you know? So there's no movement basically. And there we go, see that? And here's our next steps, right here. Right, when we start with this number 67 piece right here, so we're going to be, whoa, where are you going? We're going to be holding it like this. So see the gaps, these gaps right here has to face towards your worktop basically and not your ceiling like this, yeah, I know. Well, they could, but you'd have to work from the other side basically, I know. So this is how you're holding it basically. You need to make sure you wax right in there and around that leg. And the same on the other side, just trust me, just do it. Then we come to this guy, number 68. Look at that little line, see that right there? So we'll keep that facing your worktop. Then we come to these little guys, number 41s. Yep, remember those little guys. Yeah. So they go in on the back of this guy, or it doesn't matter which back is, to be honest. Ooh, because when you look at both sides, you can still see that line. See that? Yep. But these 2 leggies just go in, just like that. Ugh. Legs or arms, however you fancy calling it. There we go. See that? This is how they're going in. Vertical this time basically, and not horizontally, you know. So we turn it like this, line staying towards the bottom. Remember how to hold this, make sure these holes are staying facing your worktop, and this simply goes on like that. And those 2 holes right there. Right, let's push this right in. Yeah! There we go. Just like that. Absolute magic! Right, what we're going to do now is, we are coming to the actual book, just here. So, this guy is going to go on like this. But what we're going to do first is, we have to make sure that these guys lock into place. Yep. So, we're going to pop one on like this. Oh, actually, remember to pay attention how it's actually facing. See how it's kind of bending to the left a bit? So that bend has to stay towards the back of this piece, so the 67. See that? See how it went on the leg and not the other way around. And we do exactly the same on the other side. Oh yes, also another thing. Because we wax those little leggies, give it a little move, just like that, to spread that wax. And I also use the birthday candle to get in those little holes of these pieces as well. So your 69s, yup. You definitely have to do it, yeah, no. Right, so what we're going to do is, we're going to pop it on. I'm going to take these off actually, sorry. So I'm going to keep, well, yeah, let's pop this on here first because it's quite awkward when I'm filming, to be honest. So I'm going to keep the book like that. So this is going to stay like this, not fully on just yet. So basically it goes in like this. So it has to go in that hole. There we go. So see how I pushed it in that hole now, and there's a bit of a gap, but we're going to push the bottom part in. There we go. See that? Just like that. And we basically have to try and do the same thing on the other side. So pop it in a little bit. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Then we push it in. Make sure the hole is aligned and push it back. See that? Just like that. And we do exactly the same thing 2 more times. So I'm going to lock it on there like this. There we go. So we do exactly the same thing again on the other side. So that little claw at the bottom goes on first. So you can actually pop the piece into place. And push it straight on. Just make sure it's all nice and straight, and there we go. Literally just like that, and then give it a little turn to kind of spread that wax, you know. There you go. Make sure it's nice and smooth. Lovely. That is absolutely magical. Nice and smooth, that's what I like to see. And then we bring in our next step. Yep, right here. So we've got 2 number 70 pieces. So, remember how we just popped these guys in right here. So we need to kind of lock them into place a bit more because there's obviously 2 big gaps, which means they could simply kind of pop inwards towards the model, like towards the center of the model, and just kind of come out, which is what we don't need, you know. That's where these guys come in, and they go on the inside. So the hammery part is staying to the top, and that little leg is going to go in this hole. Right there, that's at the back. So it might be quite fiddly. Let's see, yep, definitely is. So tweezers might come in handy here, to be honest. Right, let's see. So I'm going to pop in the hammery part first, just so it's kind of in the place. Yep. So I popped in the hammer part first. You can see it right here. Now I'm going to push in the bottom part. Hold it at the front here as well. Ooh, there we go. See that? That's where that went in. Just like that. And you can see that it's locked everything into place basically. So we'll make everything a bit tighter as well. And we'll give it another run and see if it's nice and smooth. Right, so I'm going to start from the top. Pop the little hammery part in first. Come on. There we go. Just like that. See, it kind of just fell in. So now I need to push it down just a little bit. So the little leg lines up with the hole. Nice. I'm going to use my tool to help me push it in. Hey, stop escaping. Escape. Yeah. If only it was a bit easier to push it into place, because there's not much space to pop your finger in at all. Alright, let's see. Yeah, this one is definitely a lot more awkward. Alright, there we go. Finally heard the clicks. And there we go. That's that right in. Nice and flush in there. And as you can see, it's right there. Yeah, that one's nice and straightforward. That one, not so much. So just make sure you take your time with this, yeah, now. Okie dokie, on to our next step. So we got these 2 little guys again. So your 2 59s. And what we're going to do is, we're going to pop the lid on the actual mechanism. And as you can see, this is on a stop position just now, but we'll move it to start. Only because it's moving this like bookmark, that is the bookmark actually, yeah. It's moving it in the model because that will have to go through this hole right here, you see. But if it's on a stop position, you try and put it in because it has to go through like that. Is it possible to put it in? Yes, it is, but I don't want to break anything just in case, you know. So I'm going to move it back so the tongue basically is inside. Then we're going to pop these 2 legs through the back. See, just like that. There we go. Then when we close the book, before I pop these 2 guys, well, these little guys in these holes, let's see, does it go through? Yep, there we go. And now we're going to pop these little guys in. So right in these holes. There we go. So that will literally just secure the top part of the book into place, as you can see. You can pop some wax on it, yes, to help you slide it in, but these ones actually go in a bit easier. Yup, definitely. And there we go. Look at this, that is absolutely magical. And you know what we have to do now? We can go and test it, but I can tell you right now, tell me if I'm wrong, at least I would say, this is gonna sound extremely ridiculous, but about 95% of you will notice that this is actually not working. Yup, I'm predicting future, yeah! I can predict future. That's what you call magic, you see? Because this is a magical book, you know? Anyways, it will not work. And I'm going to show you now what you have to do to make it work. Very simple solutions, so don't panic. So, we simply pop this to the start position. We open up the lid because that simply removes this bookmark from that hole so we can open up the book. Otherwise, you just can't, you know, and that's why it wouldn't run, obviously, to start with. Then, when you look at this whole mechanism right there, I noticed that this big piece right here, that's sitting at the top of where that spring is basically, that wasn't pushed in far enough. So you need to make sure it's sitting on that shaft really quite nicely. So it's holding the whole mechanism at the bottom into place, so it's not tilted basically, especially when it's running. So that's a good start. Then what you have to do is, see this piece right here, that's on the wheel. So when it turns, when the book is actually on and it's running and the string is coming back around that spring there, this guy, that hits this piece right here, this white piece. And as you can see, I have actually waxed this side right here and this side right here. So when it actually hits it, this top part of the book bounces up. But if it hits it when both pieces are dry, it creates heat and friction. So that helps loosen things up. But the biggest one is this whole mechanism right here. Because don't forget, our pieces are going in place quite tight. So everything's a bit tight, even though we put plenty of wax everywhere, and I hope to God you followed and waxed every single bit I told you to wax, because that, to be honest, is the first thing you need to do. Then what you can do is, all we have to do is just loosen it a bit. So what I did was, grabbed a little wee knife, literally popped it next to the gear, just like that. You can grab a Stanley knife or anything thin, you know, and I just kind of moved the sides a bit. See that? Just to loosen it up. Then I went to the middle gear. See that? Literally loosening it up just a little bit. We do exactly the same at the top here. And then we do exactly the same here on this side. Just a little bit. And if you need to loosen everything a little bit more because it's not running perfectly, you can. But don't go overboard, obviously, you know. And then what you can do is, you can literally just close it off. Just like that. Pull this. I'm not going to pull it all the way, you don't have to for this quick test. Then I'm going to start it, and as soon as you release your hand off the cover, it will run. Okay, now it runs. Let me pull it a bit more because there wasn't much power there, you see. There we go, that's better. And watch it go. See that? And when we lift up the cover, it will run a little bit more. See that? So because there's a lot of tight stuff going on here and needs a lot of wax, so you need to make sure you use it. And if I pull it all the way, there we go. Let's have a look now. See that? There's quite a lot of power, but there's still a little bit left. But as you can see, it does run, which is slightly annoying. And when you actually put it on the worktop or on the ground to make it run, because of the weight of the actual book, see when you put it down, keep an eye on this gear right here. When you put it down, it actually pushes the gear up slightly. And when that happens, it just interferes basically with the whole mechanism, and it doesn't allow you to kind of make it run smoothly on the ground, so the whole string is basically finished. But that is pretty good, I would say. So I have, well, like this much left maybe. That is not too bad at all. So those are your fixes if it's not running, and if your one did run, absolutely amazing. But yeah, prove me wrong. Leave me a comment and let me know how your one went, and did you have to troubleshoot it like I did? And I hope I managed to help you to make it work. And now we can move on to our last two steps. Right, so this is our second last step. Yep. See, when you pop out all the pieces, I'm not gonna lie, if you look at the instructions, it could be slightly daunting because it looks like there is a lot going on. So what we need to make sure we do is we split everything into corresponding piles. And that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, there we go. As you can see, split in 4 separate piles. But you do have to be quite careful because when you look at these guys, they are slightly different sizes as well. So your 75 and your 72, as you can see. One's just slightly smaller than the other. And even these guys, so that's your 77, that's 71. When you put them back to back, they are incredibly similar. As you can see, that's a very slight difference. So yeah, you have to be very careful. Did I pick up the right one? Whoa, don't want to mix them up. I'm just making sure it's going in the right pile. Nope, it definitely didn't. See, very easy to mix them up. Right, so let's start from the left hand side basically. So left top corner from the left hand side. So these guys are your 71 pieces, as I said, and these are your 72s. So these are going on to that single leg basically that's at the bottom, and not on the side where there's two basically parallel, is it? Oi, where are you going? And that goes simply on like that. Could be quite hard to be honest. Let's see. Just like anything else that's small, you know. There we go. See that? That's how that goes on. And we do this 5 more times. And there we go. First pile has been completed. So this is how all of them have to look like. So you just have to make sure that that straight edge is facing the 2 legs basically, and not the other way around. So yeah, that's that one done. Now I move on to the top right corner from the instructions. So we got your 73 piece right here, and we got these guys which are 75s, and these guys which are 74. So when you look at this guy, we're looking at these 2 legs at the bottom. So see how they're not in a line properly, unlike these 2 guys right here. See how they're just in a really nice straight line. So these 2 guys that are straight in a line, I'll keep them to the left hand side. And I'm going to start with 74. See, when you look at the right edge and comparing it to the left edge, that right edge is shorter than the left one. So that shorter edge has to face the bottom, and that goes in the second leg. So push that straight on. Again, could be quite hard. Yep, there we go. See that? So the longer edge stays to the top, shorter one stays to the bottom. Then we come to 75, and that cut off straight edge is facing that 74 piece. Just like that. Wow, there we go. See that? Very nice. Is this a burr? I thought it was a burr. That's a bit of wax. See that? Absolute magic. And now you have to do that 3 more times. And there we go. As you can see, you should also have 4 of these now. Now I'm moving on to the bottom right. So we got 77 and we got 75 right here. So we're basically doing exactly the same thing that we did with the top left corner pieces. So as you can see, the singled out leg basically that's not in line with any other leg, this is how I'm holding it. And that cut off straight line is facing up the way. So your ceiling basically. And it goes straight onto that single leg there, Rihanna. There we go. Just like that. And you have to do that 1 more time. Yep. There we go. Don't worry, soon enough you won't have any sore fingers. There you go. That's those two guys done. And then we come to our bottom left corner one. So this is the last one. Oh, there's a bit of burr left. Did I even sand these? I thought I did. Maybe just some of them. It's very odd, but never mind. Right. Again, that singled out leg just right here. So the ones that are in the line, don't touch them. It's the one that's singled out. And we do, again, exactly the same thing that we basically just did. That straight line facing your ceiling. And it goes onto that single leg. Yeah. See? Just like that. And now you just have to do it 3 more times. And there we go. As you can see, all 4 done. So, now that we have 4 separate piles, we're going to split everything up. So your top left corner is your C4s. Bottom left, C6. Top right corner, C5. And the bottom right corner, C7. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to lift up the book, make sure the bookmark is basically facing me, so the top part's facing your ceiling. I'm going to pop everything to the side just now, because we're going to split everything up. So I'm going to start with this corner right here, so the left hand side corner, because all the guys will basically come right here. So we start with C7, which is your bottom right. Pop that straight down. Then we need 2 C4s. Top left. So I'm lining it up. See that? Just like that. So nicely, you know. Then we need a C5, which is right here. Gonna pop that straight down. And then we need a C6, which is right here. So let's now pop them in. So start from that C7, yeah, no? That will come right in here. See those 2 holes? And it overhangs. So the little pieces that we popped on, they will be overhanging. There we go. That's that in. Now on to our next one, which is going right here. Wow, what noises. Those clicks, still quite unreal. On to the next one, which goes right here. So everything's basically going in right next to each other. Oh my goodness, that is noises. Ho, ho, ho. Pretty crazy. I'm putting a lot of pressure on that lid, let me tell you, by trying to pop these pieces in. There we go. See that? Look at this. How cool is that? That is absolutely awesome. Right, now we come to the right corner, right here. So, we start with number 7. So I'm going to start from the top again, because I'm going to start working from here, just like the other side. Then I'm going to work around it and pop everything in, going to the left hand side. So, a C7 right here, then 2 C4s, which are right here. So just make sure you line them up, just like that. Then we need a C6, which is right here. Line it up again. And then we need a C5, which is right here. There you go, just like that. And I'm going to start from the top, as I said, and just start from the same top part as I did on the other side. And just work your way around it. Those pieces are not easy to put in. Unreal. Yeah. You could use wax, yes, on those little leggies, you know, but it's okay. I'll just go through the pain. Okay. That is crazy. Look at this. And don't forget, we do have some pieces left. And don't you worry, we will use them in a second. But look at that. That's like the part of the mouth, you know, like the actual obviously cover, but that is absolutely awesome. Very cool, amazing kind of engineering, you know, like the actual look, the design. I think that's actually quite stunning, to be honest. Right, now what we're doing is we're coming to the bottom of the model. So make sure the wheels are basically facing you. See these holes right here? This is where one of them is going to go, then here, and then here. And it's the same on the other side. So again, we need to make sure we line everything up. So I'm going to start with this left hand side. Again, just like previously, basically with the actual cover, you know, the front cover. So we need a 4. There we go. C4. then a C5, and then a C6. I'm going to leave the rest of them as they are because I don't want to mix anything up, you know. So I'm going to start with the left hand side. There we go. Pop it straight in. Then the next one. Again, you're going to have to use some force, let me tell you. Oof, right, there we go. That's 3 in and only 3 more to go. So we got 4 just right here. Now we got this. We got 6 and then we got 5. So as you can tell, it's slightly different. For this one, we actually had C5 right here in the middle. But this time, as you can see, it's slightly different. And we actually need to swap 2 of these around. So, this is our C5 now. So I'm coming to the right hand side. I'm going to start from the left holes. Again, just like on this side. But as you can see, so this piece, your C5, it went in the middle on this left hand side, but we're actually starting with it now. So slightly different. Let's pop that straight in. Ooh, there we go. Then we've got our C6. Pop that straight in. Nice and easy. Don't want to break those leggies. Come on. Oh my god, that's far too difficult. I think the leg's actually coming off. Yep, I saw it. Saw it straight away. The actual part of the leg's coming off. Like just the side. Because it's just incredibly tight, you know. Let's try that again. Yep, that's better. There we go. And then we go our C4 right here, which will go right at the end. Ah, yes. There we go. And now we can have a look at this. Look at that. I personally absolutely love the design. That is absolutely magical. How can anyone come up with something like that? I just don't kind of understand really. And you know what we need to do now? The last step, which is the actual mouth. And there we go. Yep, our last step. So when you look at the actual teeth, that is super cool by the way. So you can tell the difference very easily because when you look at this guy right here, which is your 80 piece, the teeth are much longer and sharper looking than the top teeth right here, which is your 79 piece. So what we're going to do is, to be honest, it doesn't matter how you face these top teeth. So yeah, you can face this bigger tooth either to the left hand side or to the right. It doesn't really matter, but if you want to follow instructions clearly, you can keep it to the right, but I'm just going to do it the other way round. I'm going to keep this to the left here now, just to show you that you don't really have to follow the instructions here. So that's up to you how you want to face those teeth. Then this guy is going to come in on the sides, just like that. So make sure this leggy right here is pointing kind of away from you, and the round edge is facing your worktop. And it pops in just like that. See that? And it's exactly the same on the other side. There we go. And now what we do is we come to the model, come to the front, and these are your top teeth. That will go in these 2 holes right there. Let's see if this is going to be quite awkward. To be honest, we could have done the mouth before we did these details right here because it would be much easier to put the mouth in. But never mind. Oh well, you learned something. Right, let's see. Pop this straight in. I kind of have to hold the back of the lid so it doesn't go anywhere, you know. You have to kind of be careful where you're holding though. As you can see, the actual front is kind of pushing inwards. Let me open it up. So I'm going to hold at the front here. Yep, that is definitely easier. Don't try and put it in once the lid is closed because that just made it a bit more difficult. I think the bottom will be easier because that is a lot sturdier than the top, you see. Let's close this off. Nice. Now we come to the front teeth. So we're going to face them up like this, as you can see. Again, It doesn't matter how you face them. And we come to these guys again. So remember how we popped them in. If it was turned like that, it went on like this. But we're literally doing the opposite basically. So we have to flip it. See that? We flip both. So the round edge of this guy, so your 78 piece, is facing your ceiling now. And it goes on just like that. See that? Okay. And we do the same on the other side. There we go. See that? Magic. And now that goes in at the bottom. And those two holes that are left there. There's just right in. Yup, very lovely noise. And as you can see, it doesn't matter how you face those top teeth or the bottom teeth. You can literally choose. And you know what? That is the book completed. This is going to be an absolutely epic model once it's turned on, because I think it's time to give it a quick review and turn it on and see it in action. And there we go. I don't know about you, but that is absolutely awesome. Where have you seen such a model before? That is absolutely incredible. Definitely the gimmick of like the actual book of monsters from Harry Potter. That is absolutely incredible. I just kind of wish it was massive. Now that would be cool. And I can just picture myself sticking a motor in there and using a remote control. Now that would be just spot on. And what I really also like is, by the way, the colours. The colours are really nice and rustic, should I say. It's not like they're right in your face, really bright, you know. They're very quite pleasant to look at. And if you ask for my opinion about this whole experience, I would say it was pretty amazing, apart from just a couple of little things. It's that most pieces are so hard to put in a place. Even the pieces that shouldn't be hard to put in, like these little guys, you know, and all the other little pieces. I know it's a mechanical model and it opens up and it closes quite rapidly, so loose pieces wouldn't be use, but that is like extreme tightness in most of the areas. And then another thing is the instructions. I'm slightly kind of confused, could I say maybe? Because some pages had instructions that were really good, really clear, like all the instructions are clear. It's just that they're cluttered, I would say maybe. There's so much information or logos and all sorts just going on. I don't know, it kind of confused the eyes a little bit. It's like, ooh, where do I start? Where do I go from here, you know? It's so, yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that one. It could be easier to be read, to be honest. But yeah, about the wooden sheets, pieces were in really nicely. Trust me, you will have to sand every single piece because they come out quite hard, to be honest. But that's why you use a little tool to give you a hand. And yeah, because they come out quite hard, you will be left with burrs everywhere. So use it. And remember, use plenty of wax. Use that birthday candle or any other wax that you have, like a tea light candle, you know. I use that quite a lot, obviously. And this is what I was left with while using their own wax. So as you can tell, I use a lot of wax because you need it for such a model. But the biggest thing that I kind of wish that wasn't in the model is actually the rubber bands and the actual spring. That's like one of the most important things of the model, well, especially the spring because it runs the model, you know. But it's just quite dangerous, really, you know. It's not the safest thing. You could tell me, yes, it's quite safe in there, but what if pieces for some reason somehow in the future get loose and you wind it up and you forget to like release it and it just kind of explodes one day because it holds so much power? You could easily harm yourself or just damage the model, or both. And rubber bands, again, they dry out over time. I know I could get in those wheels much easier than any other models, but still, it would be quite irritating, to be honest, to pull the model slightly apart just to replace the rubber bands. It doesn't really make sense, if you know what I mean. But yeah, they're obviously needed for here, or we could just roughen up those wheels so it has grip on everything, because they're just there for grip. Otherwise, yeah, if you popped it on like a really slidey floor and there was no grip, it might just sit there, run, but not actually go forwards. It will just do a wheel spin basically, you know, something like that. But overall, if you're into models like this and you like Harry Potter as well, you're in luck, because I would definitely recommend this, but you just have to take your time, make sure you save your fingertips and just have a bit of patience, and make sure you troubleshoot this slightly as well, because pieces are clearly just a little bit far too tight. And I hope I was able to help you all out. I would love to know your experience, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe and ring the bell for more videos like this one. And thank you so much to all my channel members again. And if you'd like to support my work, you can do that by joining my channel as a member. So that'll be you buying me a coffee once a month basically. And thank you so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to go and check this out in the comment section and description. And I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.